starts that qualification already. So before you even go out, you're culling out people that are not going to be suitable for you.
G'day, Damien. I'm excited today because I know we're about to talk about prospecting. Now, when you think about prospecting, what's the one key thing that you'd like people to think about with regards to prospecting?
Yeah, I'm big Kev on this too. I'm excited as well. Yeah, definitely. One of the key things I find is, prospecting, what we're talking about is, where are the buyers? Where are the people that are going to buy what you have to offer? Where do they hang out? And people are like, oh, how do I do that? Well, one of the first things I always do is getting very, very clear about what is the problem I'm solving. And part of that too is looking at, where have you already sold stuff already? So you're identifying, going, what are those clients? And for me, that is really, really critical, to be very, very clear about the problem that I'm solving, because then it helps starts that qualification already. So before you even go out, you're culling out people that are not going to be suitable for you, because you only have 24 hours in a day and you want to maximize that. So for me, the first step is always being really, really clear about, what is the problem I'm solving.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. One of the issues I come across regularly with salespeople is they have a prospect.
Mm.
Not quite sure how to prospect the prospect. That makes any sense. So I know
We do that a
there's
lot.
I know there's gold in these hills, but I'm not quite sure
Yeah.
how to get the gold out of the ground.
Mm.
So it's a lot of that too is about uh, understanding what value proposition you are
Yeah.
offering this potential prospect. Because if we're calling it a prospect, that means you're not 100% sure that uh, this prospect will become a client, whether it's in this sales period or at any other in the future.
Mm.
So you're thinking, I need to understand what's unique to us as the sales organization, that's valuable to the client as the client organization, and that
Mm.
can't be replicated by a competitor.
Yeah.
So I need to get really clear on that. Like, what is it? What is it that I'm uniquely offering this organization that's valuable to them? And
Mm.
you can brainstorm that in your organization. You can ask other clients about what that transaction felt like for them. And then
Mm.
when you are prospecting in the organization, you can say, "G'day, Damien. Really, really excited about talking to you today. The reason I think it's important for us to talk is blah. Like here is something potentially unique we can offer you, and that's why I think it's important for us to meet and talk this through and see how valuable it may be for you. I'm keen to get your insights to see whether your organization can get the sort of benefits other organizations like yours have from our approach." So
Mm.
I'm beginning to dig the mine, if you like. I think there's gold there somewhere,
Yeah.
and I'm prospecting within the organization.
100%. And I love what you've talked about there, about asking those questions, because they're critical. There's a whole bunch of reasons, and we cover them off in the Next Gen Sales Masterclass. But from the perspective, when you look at that, asking those questions, what you can also do is identify a whole bunch of other needs that you could actually solve.
Yeah,
Problems that you
yeah,
could solve. So, and that's a whole different topic, and we'll talk about that separately. But
yeah.
what and just it's such a that is one of those gold mines. It's like, oh, they mentioned, oh, this, and it's like, oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff there I can can do quite easily and with the same resources that you have. So excellent management of time asking those questions. The other component of that is in that prospecting component, when you've identified clearly what it is, the problem you solve, and you speak to someone about that, and they might not have that problem, and you want to identify that early, because, and this is where it's important, people are scared to ask about price, or scared to mention price and what they're doing. They want to chew the fat, talk about the weather and stuff like that. And, on the other side of the phone, the person going, can you get on with it? So get on with it. Ask, say what it is you're about. And if they can't, if they don't have a problem, which is fine, they don't have a problem. The thing that a lot of people don't do, which is extremely valuable, is ask that person, do you know of anybody that would need this problem solved? When you ask that, because then they're becoming a referral for you. They may know somebody. And myself and my own clients, and you've done this as well, Peter, no, the same thing. When people ask that question, all of a sudden you're getting referrals, and that's part of that prospecting and finding where that gold in the hills is.
Yeah, and if you're working with big clients, like big organizations, like enterprise level organizations, there may be other parts of that organization that you can work with and prospect, if you like horizontally across the organization. And what you can
100%.
also do is to understand that each client you talk to will have a unique manifestation of the problem. It won't be exactly the same each time, unless you're like selling a retail item where everyone's buying the same tub of margarine with the same ingredients. It's going to be a particular unique manifestation each time. So the other part of prospecting I recommend, and that we'll be exploring in the sales masterclass, is to be really curious about that client's business. Super curious, because you think this person you're talking to spends most of their life in that organization. They know a lot about it. They are interested in it. And if you're really curious about it, you'll find out some real gems with regards to how you can prospect in that organization. And as you mentioned, as you learn how to prospect in that organization, you're learning how to prospect in other organizations that are similar to that. I know some people that spend their entire lives in one industry, which is fantastic. If there's enough business there, that's a great thing. And they become experts, almost consultants to that industry, because they have so much expertise over a long period of time. And that makes prospecting a lot easier, because clients want to listen to you. You've had 20 years of experience or 10 years of experience understanding these problems. They want to hear from you to see what your perspective is. Don't you think, Damien?
Oh, 100%. I love that you've mentioned that. And part of that focus, finding that high quality client. I had, these weren't a client, they're a plumbing company that I knew, then they were turning over 15 mil, working flat out, 7 days a week. There were 3 directors. And they were highly stressed, not getting time with their family, which is, who wants that? What they did was, in their prospecting, they went through their existing clients and said, we're going to get rid of all the trouble clients, all the difficult clients. So their revenue dropped by a third. So they went from 15 million to 10 million. What they noticed was, one, they had more time. That was a big thing. They only went back to working 5 days a week. They had plenty of time with their family. Great for your mental health. Really important to get that balance. But what they also noticed was their profit went up, which is one of the key things, and that's a whole different topic that we can talk about. But part of that prospecting can be going through your own clients and going, is this someone that's worthwhile me having on the books? Or do I need to be focusing? And that's, again, clear about the problem that you're solving is the core of that prospecting.
I like that idea, Damien, and because it may be, even if you're not like reducing the number of clients you're working with, which is a great strategy. It may be clients that you spoke to 6 months ago, even a year ago, that weren't prospects. That may be prospects now, because circumstances change, the economy changes, the business environment changes. They could be prospects now. So it might be a useful idea to consider reviewing prior contacts and using that as a prospect list, or at least a way of making calls and just revisiting them. So, hey, Damien, we spoke last year. about this approach. You indicated then that that wasn't working for you then. I'm just curious about whether the circumstances in the organisation have changed now, and it's worthwhile for us to have a conversation about this approach. That can be useful too.
100%. And I love that. And as you know, I use that all the time with my clients. I've used that all the time. I had one particular client in particular where we went through that discussion. They went through their list. They picked up the phone call and landed in that day 4 major deals. That was insane. It was very simple. And that's part of what we talk through in the sales and next gen sales masterclass is how to do that. How do you contact previous clients in a way that's going to land that deal? Because if they've bought from you before, and there's a way to reach, especially if you haven't reached out to them for a while, how to reach out to them in a way that's going to create that trust. And that's part of why I love going through that component of the next gen sales masterclass, because it's so eye-opening. I love people go, whoa, that's so powerful.
How well it works. And a key part of that we'll be looking at is in the room, like live in the room when we're with you, is to help you craft a value proposition for that particular call, to say, here's why I'm calling, and here's why I think it's worthwhile for us to meet and have this conversation. And that prospecting value proposition is often what's holding people back from making that call. They think, well, they're not going to answer my call, they're not going to have the meeting, and they won't unless you give them a reason to meet with you in that prospecting call or in that prospecting exercise. And that's where a prospecting value proposition that we'll craft in the room is really useful, and I'm excited about sharing with people.
Yeah, same. And I love that analogy that you brought up, and linking that to the Next Gen Sales Masterclass. There is gold in them. There planets out in the great beyond. So looking forward to seeing everybody in the Next Gen Sales Masterclass. Pete, always wonderful chatting with you. So excited. This is just such a wonderful area to work in.
Thanks, Damien. Bye, guys.